Wagwan, you beautiful bitches over there, then here, over there, wherever you are. Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another social production. That's right. We're doing it on Wednesday, July the 2nd, 2025. Thank you for joining me once again. If you're tuning in anywhere from Canada, Wagwan to me familiar. Further down south, more familiars in the United States of the Americas. Over there in Mexico, South America, in Bolivia, over there in Belarus, over there in Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, of course. All around the world. We're doing it together. Thank you for coming in and being a part of this little podcast this little family that's doing things one tiny step at a time. Let's have some fun. It's Wednesday. The heat is on. It is summertime. Time to get them tan lines. Or remove all your clothing and forget about tan lines. Just go nude in the privacy of your own backyard or a nude beach. Doesn't matter. Anyway, that's aside the point. The point is to get that SPF, or don't, because who knows? Does it cause cancer or does it prevent cancer? I don't know, to be honest with you. Nonetheless, I hope you're all golden bronze, the beautiful colors, all the colors, brown, white, black, tanned, so many degrees of tans, tan on tan. Let's get right into it, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Many of you are wondering, you're like, oh man, how do I go ahead and find a new friend? How do I make a friend? Where's the best place to meet new friends, make new friends? And research and statistics have actually shown, ladies and gents, that it is often the best place to go and find a friend, a new friend, is a public bathroom. That's right, there you go. So according to the stats, if you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm in my 20s, in my 30s, 40s, 50s, it's need a few friends. How do I make a new friend? The public restrooms and bathrooms are the number one place to make a friend. You're like, how do I go about? I'm a little bit shy. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I'm just letting you know you're not alone out there. Next time you walk into a public bathroom, and we'll go through both the sex genders together. There's different etiquette in both. Well, first, let's go through the male bathrooms. First of all, if you're getting in there and you're by yourself, spend a little bit of time. That gives you a little bit of time to kind of like assess the situation. Is there a stall? Is there a bathroom stall? Is there one that's got the door closed, open? What's going on? Are there urinals? How many urinal stands do we have available? Let's say there is 3, or let's say there is, however many number of urinals there are. You want to center yourself somewhere within the middle. If it's 3, you want to go right in between. You want to stand in number 2 and start going about your business. Hopefully by the time you're starting your business, somebody else will walk in, and because you've selected urinal number 2, they have no choice but to be either on your right or your left, or this is flipped because we're on television, we're on the internet. So this is right for this is me, this is my right. This is my left, but I'm not quite sure if this it doesn't matter. The point is you're in the middle, the right or left. Hopefully it's only 3 urinals. And that way you already set up the circumstance to meet your new friend. And a lot of times people are like, you know what, I'll just mind my own business, stare straight ahead, no peeking, no talking, no chewing gum, no blowing bubbles. Well, that was yesteryear. That's how you go ahead and avoid making friends. If you want to make a friend, I'm telling you right now, start a conversation, introduce yourself. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to slightly turn your body, urinate a little bit on the fella next to you. Just a little bit. Just, oh, my bad, dog. My bad, G. See how they react. Because if you get a little sprinkle, if you get a couple of droplets on a person's shoe, and you can tell a lot. They say that you can tell a lot about how a person reacts to a couple of urine droplets on their shoe or their pants or their shirt, depending on, I don't know where you're aiming, but nonetheless, just like to introduce you. Hi, I'm John. And then turn back to where you were peeing. And then hopefully they too are in a new, because this is a new time, baby, 2025 and moving forward, this is a new wave. And hopefully they'll turn around and introduce themselves, and maybe they'll sprinkle a little bit of urine on you. And that's when you know what? We're fucking sword fighting now. We're a couple of sword fighting. We're a couple of we're gonna be best pals. This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. After that, do not be sometimes a lot of people, because sometimes it's sure, anybody can go and grab their own peen and aim it at the urinal and just urinate in the urinal, and that's fine. Anybody can do that. Anybody, you can even be missing an arm and still do that, because you still got one arm and you can hold your own cock. But let's not think about ourselves here. Let's not be a way to make a friend is to put them first. So remove your hand from your cock, place it on top of theirs, hold their peen, and aim it in the urinal that they're pissing in, so that your assistant, and this is a sign of, without even saying much, this is already kind of putting forward the thought that, hey friend, hey pal, I'm here for you. Suppose they're busy. Sometimes people walk in, I've seen people with cell phones. You know what? They're holding onto it with one hand, holding their cock with the other hand. So it's like, you know what? Tell them you can go hands free. If you want to start texting, I'll hold your cock. Hold their cock while they're texting, when they're waiting in the urinal to pee in. So this is the best way. So you can start that conversation, start that new friendship, just a little tiny step. And don't be ashamed, or don't be like, oh, I don't know if it's should I be a little bit, should I keep it this? Wiggle the pee. And a lot of times you got to wiggle it, because what do you do for yourself once you've finished pissing, gentlemen? You wiggle it a little bit. You wiggle the tip a little just to get the extra droplets out. Wiggle this cock a little bit so you get the extra droplets out. If you really want to be a friend, you'd grab it. Hopefully you've already pre-planned. You have gathered yourself a couple of napkins, tissue paper in your pocket. Whip that bad boy. Dry off the tip of his cock, because that is dry tipping. That is going above and beyond and saying, you know what, this guy is somebody you can count on, friend. And go ahead and zip him up, but do not rush it. Worst, because this is easily, you've already prepared yourself to be in good graces of this new friend. If you go ahead and zip too fast and he catches nutsack or a peen between the zipper, and all of a sudden he's, I'm bleeding from my nutsack, that's, ruined friendship. So be careful, don't rush is what I'm trying to tell you. And that's just at the urinal. And you're like, what if they're not in the urinal? What if they're sitting down on the toilet in the bathroom stall? And what do I do? Knock. A lot of time people don't even knock, Wiggle your foot under the door. See what they do. Wiggle it. Just put your foot under the door and wiggle it around a little bit. See how they react. Peek over. Get up on top and peek over. What's up, friend? Introduce yourself. Reach over. Extend an olive branch by reaching over. Hi, I'm Mikey. Just put your hand over, introduce yourself. Start rolling down the toilet paper for them, because they're taking a shit, dude. So you know what comes next? Wiping comes next. Instead of them having to be like, oh, I gotta roll down this toilet paper all by myself. It can be lonely sometimes. So get in there, roll it, just a couple of swipes. You know how to swipe, don't you? Spit and swipe on that shit, son. Spit and swipe on that shit. Let your boy get that TP. Let your boy get that 2-ply. Let your boy get that square for his bum. And that's what it is. Next thing you know, I suggest by this time, if they've not said anything, this is already them saying, you know what, I agree to this friendship. This is gonna work out. Just open the door, get them to open it, get in there. And if sometimes people are like, oh, maybe I should be leaning forward, putting my elbows on my knees while I'm taking a dump, while I'm looking at my screen and shit, while they're on their phone. Take away their screen, put it in your pocket, hold it for them. If they need any assistance wiping, a lot of time people are like, oh, everything's on my own, gotta wipe my own ass. And it's like, hey, why not have a friend wipe your ass? And guess what? You can only see so much of your own ass. You can only see if you don't have a mirror, and a lot of people don't carry mirrors with them anymore, ever since phones came around, because before phones, it was mirrors. But now we don't have that, and it sucks. But you can have your friend turn around and wipe your friend's butt for them. Get in there, open the cheeks up, wipe nice and clean. And that's how you build friendship. And it's like, after the flush, you wash your hands, and it is, hey, what do you want to do for the rest of the day? And that's a great way to make a new friend. And for the ladies, a lot of this still applies, but you don't have the advantage of going in there. You don't have the urinals, which I've been trying to petition and get. I've tried to do this for the ladies. It's just, I said one open urinal, and they just spray it at the wall and just washes. But because women, women, when they pee standing up, it's like, it's like, God bless them. We love it, but it's just all over the place. So it's like a skunk kind of just like, just all over. It's messy. And again, but I said, make a whole wall, make a wall that's a urinal stand, and they could just go side by side, open wide, and just spray the wall. And that way you can kind of, again, napkin in hand, napkin and wipe your friend's cooch. You know what I'm talking about? Don't be, oh, she's on her period. You know who else is going to be on their period soon? You might be on your period soon. And isn't it a lonely venture going in there and putting tampons up your own puss by yourself? How many women have quietly wept, broken hearts, and they're like, oh, I wish I had a girlfriend who could help me put a tampon or a Tampax up my puss when I'm bleeding. When I'm bleeding, as a sister, you're not alone. You're not bleeding alone. Walk in there, even if they're sitting again in a stall, just knock, reach over, reach under, change their tampon for them. Nothing says friendship like holding somebody else's blood clot in your hand and saying, you know what? This means nothing to me. Lick it, toss it away. Blood sisters, that's right. So these are just some methods that I thought about that you could utilize in your life and go ahead and make a new friend. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't know where to go. There's plenty of places. Public bathrooms, #1 place to make a friend. Do not be shy, do not hold back. It might not work with everybody, and that's the way it goes. You're not going to be friendly with everybody, but hey, you keep trying. You're definitely going to get some sort of reaction, and next thing you know, got yourself a couple of friends. So here's to friendship, here's to community, family, and life. Sip to the gang. What else, ladies and gentlemen? We've got a lot to discuss, lots of fun to be had, of course. Marriage has a lot of positives. You may know that if you're in one. One of the greatest downsides of a marriage, of course, is the inability to contract a new STD or STI, which is, and that's one of the major reasons why a lot of people stay away from marriage, because it doesn't bring that, because that's the thing. Once you're single, you could be, you could be STDing it, you could be STIing it. It's a new thing each and every time. But when it's closed, when you put that ring on it, when it's, when you get people in front of you and you read your vows to each other and you'd make promises and people take photos and Polaroids and somebody's drunk uncle makes a speech, somebody, some bridesmaids hook up with the best men's, there's a threesome in some closet at a convention center. Who knows? It doesn't matter. You paid a beautiful singer to come and sing some songs at the wedding, and it's beautiful. That's fantastic. But that's when you lock it down. You're like, you know what? Whatever STDs we got together, we're gonna go into this marriage, and that's it. And you might have some, you might not have any, but you locked it in now. Now the doors are closed. Now it's like, if we've got them, we've got it. If we don't have them, this tis the life we chose. He'll say that, and sure. It's fine. The first few weeks goes by as this is the honeymoon stage, baby. First few months, first few years, 2 years, 3 years, and that's the thing when they say if you can go past the 3-year mark, there's a higher chance of you succeeding and staying with each other longer. But that's when typically a lot of marriages start teetering and kind of falling apart due to lack of STDs and STIs. And STDs and STIs are just a little bit more excitement. So how do you go ahead and contract an STD or an STI if you are in a marriage, if you are fully committed? It's rolling the dice. It's not easy. It's not easy to get the STDs or the without having some sort of third party come in to the equation. A lot of times people will, that's a marriage breaker too. That's sometimes for a lot of people as a marriage, if you go out and bring somebody else into the marriage and you had all the best intentions. This wasn't for you. This wasn't for like a little selfish, let me just have my cake and eat my puss too. This wasn't about, this was about, you know what, let me go do something and bring a little bit of excitement to this marriage is what you said. All you had was good intentions, nothing else. But yeah, societal pressures. Oh, look at this fella or this lady stepping out of the boundaries of marriage. And all you wanted to do was bring a little bit of STD and STI into the relation. You know what I'm talking about? So there you go. People judging. Don't let people judge. For what it's worth, I'll say this. Resort to, once again, this actually kind of does link back to our previous topic. Public bathrooms, a lot of times I would say, just rub yourself on the seat a lot of times, and it's a good way. If you don't put down napkins on the seat, it's a good way you can probably contract something. It's not guaranteed. It's probably harder and much more difficult to get it through public bathroom seating, but it shouldn't stop you. Otherwise, I'd suggest you'd have a conversation. Sit your partner down, sit your lover down and say, you know what, we're in it 4 or 5 years. How do you feel about a new STD? Just something that burns a little bit. Nothing major. We don't want any like sores or pus and oozing. That's later down the line. You're talking 10 years plus, 15 years plus. That's when you're like, you know what? Maybe we can bring a little bit of oozing, a little bit of pus, a little bit of a chronic infection sort of thing. You know, nothing major, but still something to get you going in the morning when you're peeing. And these are conversations you can have with your lover. Sit in the mutually pick somebody out there. Doesn't matter. Pick somebody out there. Find somebody who's got an STD or an STI. Bring them in. Get the STD to 2 of you versus them. So no longer is it just one person's responsibility to be like, I gotta provide STDs and STIs for this marriage. It's too much pressure on one individual. You're a team, god damn it. Act like one. Select an individual who's got an STD or an STI. Bring him in. Do your thing. Do your biz. You know what I'm talking about? Doesn't even need to be sexual. So all you need to do is just get a little bit of that load. Get a little, but then again, if you're gonna eat meat, get the steak. You know what I'm talking about. So go ahead and for the full experience. Go ahead and for one night, immerse yourself in that realm. And the next thing you know, it's 5-6 months of UTIs. It's 6 months of like, you know, is it permanent? Is it gonna go away? It's beautiful. And all you have to do is start and engage with a conversation of saying, you know what, sweetheart. You know what, baby boo, I love you and we're in this together. So that's one way you could bring an STD, or a couple of ways you can bring STDs and STIs into the locked boundaries of a marriage where it feels like, oh, I'm confined to no STDs and STIs, which could be suffocating at times for a lot of people. But people don't talk about this kind of stuff. And if I could be a little bit of assistance, if I could just be a little bit of a pressure valve for some relations, then I know I've done my part, ladies and gents. You're out and about, typically going out to the movies, sitting down, maybe watching a movie. It could be any movie, it doesn't matter. But typically speaking, if you're a couple, you'd like to give hand jobs and get finger fucked by your lover at least while you're waiting for the movie to start. And the worst thing that can happen during these times, when people turn around and start shushing you, shh, keep it quiet back there. And it's so annoying. And I can understand your frustration. A lot of times people get upset and they got their, your beautiful, your bitch has got your cock in her hands. She's keeping it down too. It's not anything, she's still keeping it down, but still there's somebody always, not minding their own business, turn around, get a room. And you're like, we're in a room, you'll say that. But that's the thing, you want to avoid confrontation and essentially want everybody to have a good time. A lot of people tend to overreact, and it's because they don't know what's going on. The best way to de-escalate the situation is inform the people around you. Hey, fellas, ladies, if you hear something, if you see something, relax. It's just my wife, my girlfriend, my mistress, my guma. She's just giving me a little milkshake. She's just, or she's moaning. She's gently moaning, keeping it down to a bare minimum volume level, all right? But still, there's some nosy motherfuckers out there. You know what I'm talking about. They'll turn around, what is going on here? What is this? They'll say. And just let them know. Ease their mind. Let them know. Sorry, I'm just finger fucking my guma here, my mistress, my bitch over here. She's getting finger fucked. Lady, mind your own business. And that way you could ease everybody's mind. And that's just that, a little bit of letting people know what's, because if people don't know, people will be like, what is all the commotion? What is all the noise? Where's all this? Why is the floor wet? They'll start asking questions, walking on, why are my shoes sticky? Just people, because you don't want, and people, that kind of stuff lingers in your mind. People I've seen that. When people walk away from the movies for days, months, what was that thing on my shoe? Wasn't gum. I wonder what it was. It wasn't gum, sir. It wasn't gum, ma'am. It was jism. All right. So just let people know. That's the only thing. Let people know. Reassure them that it's not anything, sus or. And this could be anywhere. It could be at a baseball game. It could be at a basketball game. It could be, you're sitting way up top in the stands. And just let people know. Hey, eyes in the front, homie. Eyes in the front. You know what's going on. Just let them know. A little bit of hand job, a little bit of finger fight. Just let people know. That's the only thing. Communication is key. A lot of commotion, a lot of scuffles kind of break out just because people are not well informed, and it's communication. Let others know what you're doing. That's all I wanted to say in regards to that matter, but we're here and we're doing it together, ladies and gents. I'll just say this, it's a PSA, I suppose, because we do a lot of that around here. We do, because it's not just about me, it's not just about you out there. We are a community at large, whether it's in your local town, your province, your state, your jurisdiction, it doesn't matter. But a lot of times we do go into office buildings or even residential buildings which have an elevator inside of them, and people, every day they get in the elevator, press a button, wait for other people to get inside, go up a few levels, go down a few levels, press, wait. And it boggles my mind, it baffles me that people go in the elevator fully dressed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fire hazard, I've noticed, because a lot of times elevators, sure, they work just fine. It's like, I've been in an elevator 1,000 times, nothing can go wrong. But do you want to be that one person or a group of individuals so that one time when the elevator is acting up due to either electricity outages, due to just a little bit of it's late on maintenance or whatever, do you want to be that individual with all their clothes on in the elevator, looking like a damn fool, sweating? Because once you can get in an elevator if the electricity's on, if the buttons are working, if the communications are working, that's all good and fun and all that. But if it breaks down, you could quickly start sweating, and you don't want to be sweating in a small, tiny box. So removing your clothing items once you get inside the elevator will actually help you sweat a little bit less, and later on you'll gain like 2-3 hours before you start sweating. Where I've seen people start sweating in the elevator as soon as they get in, and I'm thinking to myself, man, if this elevator broke, people would be just sweating all over the place, armpits, their crotchal region. I've seen beads of sweat go down foreheads. And yeah, sure, did the elevator door open and close just fine? Yeah, that one time, then that 1,000th time it did. But next time, it could linger there for hours. And you want to be uncomfortable, and sure, you're like, I can withstand a little bit of sweating. Buddy, you've had it so good for so long, you've not sweat a little bit in the elevator. That's why you think, I'll just be fine. Maybe I'll loosen up the old tie. By the time they get to you, you will have died. You will have died trying to undoing a tie whilst under the pressure of being stuck in an elevator, whilst there's a pregnant lady right next to you, whilst there's a guy who's missing legs on a wheelchair, who's also occupying a lot of space, and he keeps turning around and stabbing your ankles with the sharp edges of his wheelchair, and he can't say anything because he's handicapped, but like low key, and that all adds to the pressure. Next thing you know, you are just thinking about the horrendous things you're willing to do to get out of this box. Well, all you have to do, friend, is upon entrance, remove your clothes. As you exit the elevator, take your clothes with you, put them back on. The elevator should be a clothing-free area is what I'm trying to tell people. This is, again, a public service announcement. If you could please start either in your residential areas, go to the local office buildings, and just start handing out pamphlets, no clothes during elevator time, close off elevators. At least, clothing friendly, just nudity friendly elevators. Sort of just spread the message, what I'm trying to say. And this is to save lives, God damn it. It goes unreported. The numbers are outrageous. Thousands of people have sweated and drastically changed the outcome of their day. It was fine in the morning, got up, just thought it was a regular day. I'm gonna grab my coffee and my bagel and go to work. And next thing you know, you're fucking sweating in an elevator because it's stuck and you have layers upon layers upon layers. And I know you're right now thinking it's summertime, I don't need to worry about clothing. Next thing you know, seasons change, friend. It's fall/winter and now you've got even more layers on. Do you wanna die? Take your clothes off in the elevator. Save yourself. Think of others. Save other lives as well, please. It's a small step. Your so-called wife is allegedly pregnant, whatever that means. The question came in and people are asking, how long do I have to call not it when my alleged wife comes in and says she's pregnant with my child, whatever that means. What is the appropriate time to call not it on being the father of the alleged child that's not even born yet? I would say that obviously there's no right or wrong way of doing this, but the quicker you call not it, the quicker you relieve yourself of all the pressures of having to become a, alleged father or a figure or one or sometimes both at the same time. So the quicker you call not it, the quicker the pressure you lift that weight off your shoulder. Not it, right there. It's just very simple. Sweetheart, I got news. I think I'm pregnant. Not it. Baby got a little bump. Not it, right there. Or she tries to. I've seen people trying to drop hints online. I've seen people do that. They come cute. They come cute with that shit. A lady will get in there. She'll start dropping hints through her daily routine. She'll just be going through, just dropping baby hints. If you got that sensor inside you, if you pick any of that shit, just call not it. She brings you a little, oh, look what I found on the side of this store. It's baby shoes, innocent baby shoes. And you guys have not had a baby yet. She's dropping hints, not it, walk out. Next thing you know, she comes, oh, I wonder how much a crib costs for babies. Not it, right there, out. Nip it in the bud, all right? The sooner the better. Of course, it does not, the rule of thumb is until that baby is physically out, you can call not it. You can call not it in the first few weeks, not it, walk away. You can call not it, after the first, second month. Because a lot of times too, pregnancy, it'll change a woman's body. And you gotta ask yourself, am I okay with this change of this? Because you know what you were dealing with before. Now this is a new person. You were going from, no belly to now belly. It's a big commitment. It's a huge commitment. You gotta ask yourself, am I ready for that? If you're not even clothed, not it, walk away. Because that body will change. It's not the same body you signed up for. It's not the same body you leased or purchased. It's a different body. It's gonna change. It keeps changing too, and it'll stay changed, and it'll keep on changing after that. So not it will guarantee you a way out much easier. And again, it's not too late. Even I would say up until the moment the baby comes out and you've seen that baby, I'd say you still have time to say not it and just bounce. Just get out of there. Not it. Oh, I think it's yours. It's your baby. Not it. You know what I mean? And you gotta wait till that baby grows up and see what the baby looks like, really, to be able to tell, does that baby resemble a little bit of me and her? Her and I? Or is it all her? Is it just all me? Or there's no resemblance to you? Not it. Walk away. Walk away. And sometimes I say, call not it. Come back, check in once they're 18, 19, 20. If they if they've got a little bit of resemblance, then you can be like, it right there. But prior to that, and it's hard to tell with babies because they change all the time. And it's who's gonna leave it up to chance? Not it, walk away. So the question was, how long do I have to call not it and walk away? As the earlier the better, of course. But I would say up until at least 18 years of age, you have the ability to just not it, walk away. You know what I mean? So can this apply for, of course, it's a little bit, some might say it's not, fair to the ladies. Ladies, if you can withhold a not it from your fella as long as you can until the baby's out, dump the baby on the male. not it. Call not it, and you walk, or you have that option too. But I'm just like, it's available to everybody really. Call not it at any time and simply walk away and just be like, I don't know, not it. It's that simple. So the question was, how long do I have? There's really no time limit, but the earlier you do it, the better it is. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a sip of this bad boy right here. We've had a few people concerned about the fact that they've faced a difficult time placing dollar bills inside vaginas. And you know, I normally wouldn't talk about it if it was just like one or two few occasions where people have tried to slip dollar bills inside puss. But apparently it's up there. It's alarming actually. And I had to sit down and think about this one. Why are people having a difficult time putting dollar bills inside vaginas? You know, a lot of it may be due to technology. A lot of vaginas may not. You know, if you're at a strip club and you try to like, you know, put in a dollar bill, if it's going in and spitting it back out, you keep putting it in and keep spitting it back out. It could be that. Ask a lot of times because people just think everybody just, you know, functions at the same rate or evolves at the same rate or, you know, adopts technology at the same. This bitch could be, you know, she could be all using like, you know, virtual reality AI puss just to, you know, get that. She could be digital is what I'm trying to tell you. She could be not accepting paper cash monies, and she could be all up on that BTC, the Bitcoins, and the whatever else is out there, the cryptos and the Visas and MasterCard, and here you are, keep jamming that dollar inside her put and keep spitting it back out. And it's just frustration for everybody. It could be that. So it could be a technological thing. And then again, you're dealing with, we're in the future now. So you might have to ask, do you accept cash or is it all, you know, digital crypto? So that's one thing. If she says, no, I still accept cash, then it might be a you thing and your bills, not you personally as a human being, but your bills. A lot of times you gotta, if they're not crisp bills, that it's gonna reject it. I've seen people just putting dollars inside puss and the puss spits it. It's no different than a vending machine. It's no different than a vending machine. I'm telling you right now, it's the same mechanism. It's the same, keep putting it in, it spits it back out. It's wrinkles, it's the wrinkles in your bill that are getting in the way of you trying to pay for this puss. So I'd say go to the bank if you can. If you've got old wrinkly bills, switch your bills. Just try to get better bills. If you don't have the time to go to the bank, I would say just, you know, just iron out your, get a flat iron, get an iron, just iron out your dollar bills. Make sure there's no wrinkles or less amount of wrinkles so that when you are putting that money inside the puss, it doesn't reject it. And there you go. You look like an idiot now. You're like, oh, where's my coupon? Where's my, you know, I got a gift card. Now you're trying to slice her puss with a gift card. It doesn't accept gift cards. It becomes a whole thing. There's lineups. People start asking questions. Oh, this guy with a gift card trying to slice up a puss with a gift card. You can't pay with a gift card. And you're like, I don't know. I couldn't pay for a gift card. It's crazy how people get themselves into these frustrating situations. But nonetheless, it's just a couple of steps prior that you could take in order to avoid the whole mess of, oh, it's rejecting my dollar bills. Again, less wrinkles, ask if they've gone digital, and sometimes you're like, what about coinage? Could I put the coin in? Depends where you are. I'm not gonna say a lot of puss rejects coins. You can't pay with coin, which is in my mind, in my heart, it's money's money, right? Money's money. Whether it's coin or bills or digital, it's all good. It's all accepted. But depending on some do have a preference. And I could get the reasoning as to why bitches don't want to be carrying coin in their puss. One or two or a few, as you know, a handful is fine. But think about them. Have a little bit of, you know, put yourself in their puss for a second, okay? It's 6-7 hours of dancing. That's a lot of accumulated nickel in that puss, in that urethra, in that ovary, in that fallopian. You know what I mean? You know, jingle jangle 1 second. Next thing you know, she's weighing a couple of pounds heavier, loses her balance, falls, breaks her hip. She's out of work for 6 months, and you don't want that. Nobody wants that. So avoid coinage, but again, it should be acceptable. It is money at the end of the day. And with the beauty of coin is that you're never gonna have to worry about wrinkles or like, oh, it's always gonna get accepted. It's just how much are they willing to accept? And these are all, again, personal little discoveries that you're gonna have to go make, and it's all about communication. So please have the put yourself in their shoes, and also have the ability to say, you know what, I have options. I have different options. If you accept coin, I can pay you with coin. If you accept cash, wrinkleless cash, I could do that. Try putting Botox in your cash. A lot of people think Botox is just for them. It's not. Get a syringe, fill it up with Botox, and just stab your paper bills, and no wrinkles there. As a matter of fact, I suggest probably put a little bit of that, Botox in that puss, it'll just probably become a little bit firmer and take the money easier. Whereas it depends on the lips, depends on the labia. It's all different. So some labias are looser, but I'm saying if the ladies want out there, use the Botox in the puss to make it kind of like more like rubbery, more like it becomes an easier form of, receiver, if you will. It's not as, because regular labias, they're fantastic, but it's not naturally meant to accept money. So I'm just putting that out there. Botox for bills and puss in order to make the transaction much easier, ladies and gents. Now, a lot of people were asking, of course, is it best to eat it from the front or eat it from the back? Eat it from the back, eat it from the front. Front, back, front. Do I eat it from the back or do I eat it from the front? And that's a great question. Thank you for asking out there. Eating it from the front versus the back, I would say they both have their advantages. A lot of times it comes down to a personal choice. I just want to preface this by saying there are no wrong answers here. It honestly goes back to the individuals involved. Eating it from the front or the back, how do you do, are you good facing things head on? If that's the type of personality you've got, then it's probably best to eat it from the front. And we're talking, if you're like, what are we talking about eating? Food? No, genitalia, puss, cack, and the old asshole. But that's already in the back, so you're kind of limited with options. But then it's a different ballgame for everybody. Different ballgame. I would say if you don't have any knee problems, if you're a younger fella or lady, I would say eating it from the front. You could easily get on your knees, eat it from the front, and that's all. And the beauty of eating it from the front, you do get to see eyes and face, so there's that mutual eye contact, a little bit of do you like this harder, more teeth, less teeth, no teeth at all, and tongue, all tongue, gum, how would you, should I chew it? Should I chew it harder? Deep throat, mid throat, entry level throat, just the tip. These are the things you could communicate and make eye contact and have that face-to-face interaction when you're looking up at the individual, whether you're eating puss or giving head. So that's the advantage. You got that face-to-face interaction. If you are a little bit I kind of want to have something I can lean on and maybe rest my arms or hands on top of, then I suggest eating it from the back is for you. Because sometimes the hands are if you're eating it, whether you're kneeling down or if they're standing up and you're kneeling down or vice versa, the hands are just kind of hanging down. That's fine. But if somebody's on the back, your hands, or if you're on a bed or if you're kneeling and it's, what do I do with my hands? You could put your hands on their back. You could or grab the ass cheeks from the side. You could do that with your hand and eat it from the back. The beauty of the eating it from the back is that you're now going a little bit step further. You're saying, you know what, I trust what you're doing back there. We don't need all this eye contact. We don't need all this communication. Just kind of stick your tongue in my puss or kind of deep throat me from the back, or have my cock in your mouth from the back. And that's one of the best ways you could do it from the back. Is there better versus worse? Is there one that's better over the other one? It honestly goes back to your preference. If it depends on height, depends on your knees and hips, depends how old you are. If you're where are you anyway? Is this like a regular area where it's like, do you have a bed? Is it the public? Is this the forest area? Is this the beach? All these are great questions that should be considered, but ultimately I just want you to know there's no right or wrong when it comes to eating it from the front or the back. Now some people do get a little bit motion sickness from the back. That's fine. You could always switch and eat it from the front, and vice versa. Some people get a little bit queasy eating it from the front, switch it to the back. A lot of it has got to do with finding what works for you, really. So listen to yourself, test it out, and don't be going out there and thinking what works for somebody else has got to work for me, or what works for me has got to work for somebody else. It's all, you got to just test it out and see what works for you. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. No wrong answer. You can eat it from both the front and the back. Dun, 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 dun. I was reading an article, ladies and gentlemen, and it was discussing whether babies should have the right to vote. Babies voting, I'm going to say nay. I'm going to take a stand on this one. I'm going to say nay. Children shouldn't have the right to vote. Typically speaking, babies are extremely stupid and dependent, or at least codependent on their elders or whoever's taking care of them. Babies can't even feed themselves. Babies are a bunch of, they're basically mooching off you until they kind of gain some sort of consciousness, and that comes in different levels and varying degrees, and it takes years. So babies voting, unless we want to have fun with it, unless we're like, we're just gonna kind of see what's up, we're just gonna mix it in there and just see what happens all willingly. Because there is the argument being made is that, yeah, babies don't know what they're doing, they're dumb, they're idiots, they're stupid babies. Some people said that, and conversely, others have pointed to the fact that some adults are very childlike, and also, they're idiots too. There's stupid adults, and that exists, but we give them the right to vote as well. So that's, although that may be true, I would say babies are still far more stupider than adults, and at least when it comes to voting and whatnot. So if I had to pick, I would say no, nay, because next thing you know, teachers and schools are going to be, if they're like, leaning towards a particular political, agenda or whatever, next thing and we've seen how that already kind of takes place in schooling and education. Next thing teachers are spewing out their beliefs, children are viewing it and thinking that's the right idea or the only idea available, without having the knowledge to go out there, and because again, they're stupid, they're babies. Oh, I'm a baby, I'm gonna crawl everywhere. Stupid baby, the world is huge. Quit crawling, get to walking, get a bike. Oh, I don't know, I'm a baby, I don't know, I don't need training wheels, dumb baby. So that's babies for you. They can't even drive, they can't even book their own airplane tickets, they can't even make their own appointments, they can't even they're pooping their pants. These are pants poopers. So no babies should get votes. If anything, more people should get their votes taken away. Probably that's too many people are voting. That's what I say. Too many people are voting. But that's just or they're not voting enough. I don't know. The point is that no, babies shouldn't get votes unless we really want to have fun and just see what happens with it. But then you'd have to. I would say if there was no outside influence, like through schooling, because sometimes, that shit happens. That shit happens a lot of times, kind of get indoctrinated into things that they don't, they're not fully developed or mature enough to think about. And it takes years to figure these things out. Sometimes, it's to your mid-20s, sometimes, to your 30s, and people are still growing and figuring things out. Nobody knows you're trying to learn and grow every day. So putting that pressure on the baby is not fair in that sense. does it make the experience fun for if they weren't impacted in any sort of way? If it was just like, hey baby, here's just the meat and potatoes of education, no agenda leaning towards any political side or stance or anything like that, just a secular form of education with just sciences, arts, the major stuff, phys ed, all the good, geography, history, all that stuff, then make your own decision. Maybe at a certain point where they can, maybe not a baby, but like maybe a young child could kind of sort of figure things out. But yeah, you're always going to have that influence of teachers and adults coming in and just teaching stuff. So no votes for babies. That's where I stand on this matter. If you think otherwise, then let your baby vote. But also don't be, if your baby transitions into like I'm a gorilla, I'm a trans gorilla, I'm gonna go off into the jungle and swing from the trees and just jizz on people who walk by as they're taking their vacations down here in the tropics or wherever it may be. Yeah. So if your baby turns out to be a trans gorilla who tosses jism at people at a beach resort, then if you're fine with that, I'm fine with it too. I'm just saying it could happen. Could happen, ladies and gents. The point is, let's get a sip of this bad boy. It was an intriguing idea though. It wasn't intriguing because I'm like, should babies get to vote? Nah. What else is going on? I'll say this. Did I watch some beautiful Koreans do some horrific shit over the weekend in Squid Game 3, where there was 3 times the squid and 3 times the games? Yes, I did. And it's a cool show. It's a nice show. I like it. It's a beautiful show. I like Koreans. I like Korean media, and I like games, and I like shows. And those are some of the things that I enjoy. So I'll say this. One of the key things that stuck out in my mind, a little bit of a spoiler, spoiler alert, it's gonna be spoiled, so if you don't want it to get spoiled, if you've not seen it yet, be a grown-up, stick it out, let it get spoiled, and go watch it again anyway. Don't spoil it I'll spoil it if I want to, son. You don't know me, I'll spoil it right here, right now. You don't know me. I will tell you what happens, kind of partially. Not the whole thing, but I'll tell you one thing. I won't even give much away. I'll say this. One of the takeaways or a question rather, that comes up, would you be willing to toss a baby for a large sum of money? Toss a baby for a large sum of money. I'll leave it up to you. Leave a comment if you're willing to toss a baby for a large sum of money. A lot of people would say, because I saw it and I'm like, man, but realistically, if you thought about it, most of us would immediately want to be the good person. You want to be the good person that says, no tossing of the baby. Got to protect the baby. No tossing of baby. No baby tossing. I'll say no to the money. No baby tossing. But let's just take a step back. All right? Okay, let's take a step back for a second. A lot of people would immediately jump and say no tossing of the baby. And that's good. I'm glad to hear that. What about hypothetical, but also kind of reality though? Because a lot of times if it's a hypothetical, it's easier to kind of go in a different direction. If it's a hypothetical situation, if you're not in society, if it's just a grouped activity or an enclosed space where whatever happens in here stays in here sort of shit. And it is Squid Game. You guys are familiar with it. It's a concept that you go and play this game. It's got dire consequences. So people who are choosing to go out and do this game are essentially they've got their backs against the wall. They're not they're there to make a decision to, it's do or die sort of thing. It's do or die. Now one could easily say, I'm not going to toss a baby, but then again, we do toss babies though. We do toss babies. That's the thing that I realized. We do, because I'll say that immediately. I'm like, no, not the baby, don't toss the baby. I said that, but then low-key, we all do toss babies. It's just distant babies. Kind of like and the Squid Game had a lot of metaphors. It has a lot of allegories for different topics, which you might like to think about. I'm sure you've already thought about a lot of them. Community, individualism, capitalism, socialism or communism, or independence, freedom, teamwork, individuality, notion of one, notion of all, notion of some, pain. Ultimately, I think we're baby tossers. I think we are baby tossers. I'm not saying we would immediately toss the baby, but I'm saying in a sense we do, because it's the world is it's got a lot of good things in it, but ultimately there is I don't know. I had a difficult time actually thinking about this, because I'm like, man, is it one for all for one, or is it survival of the fittest? Is it is it a dog eat dog, or is it? And then a lot of people say no, but then I realized it's probably somewhere in the middle. It's probably somewhere in the middle. Somewhere not quite dog eat dog, but not quite not quite let's all look out for each other. And that's kind of life. That's the reality of life. So initially, I just wanted to kind of say this to myself, or at least initially a lot of us would jump and say, no, I'm not a baby tosser, but low-key, we're tossing babies all across the world all the time, saying no to a baby. Saying no to a baby because of different reasons. They're born in a different place, they've got a different whatever. And it happens all around. It happens all the time. This versus that, the othering this. So it's very interesting to think about. Immediately, yeah, I'd like to think most of us would at least immediately say, no tossing of baby. But when it comes down to it, I think a lot of us, at least after a certain age, you'd be like, how close are we to this baby? Do we know this baby? Is this baby, Interesting topics to think about. I enjoyed it. Is there going to be another Squid Game? Well, you'll have to watch if you've not watched to figure that out, but most likely yes. And if it's ruined or spoiled for you, then don't let it be spoiled for you, man. I don't know what to tell you. So I enjoyed it. Thank you very much for all the beautiful Koreans doing Korean shit and introducing the Squid Game, where people pay to watch people fight over money, and that's another metaphor for life. In it, love. In it, there, governor. I'm not a baby tosser. I'm a good human being. I won't toss a baby. Next thing you're punting a baby. You'd punt a baby so fast. Most people would. I think. I don't know. Most people say they won't. Good. Let it be that way. But low-key, most people punt a baby from a distance. And it gets not quite black or white, somewhere in the middle. We like to punt a baby, but not directly. Maybe sort of from a distance, punt a baby. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, what else is going on? A lot of stuff is going on. I will say this. Would you toss a baby, not toss a baby? That's completely up to you. But over the weekend or past couple of days, there was a beautiful gathering of individuals. I believe somewhere near Florida. There was a cruise. There was a cruise going on, and it was a Disney cruise. On a large ship, and people were having a great time. People were enjoying themselves like they do on cruises, and it was a Disney cruise, so that shit is. I've not been on one, but I'm assuming it's really good. The food must be good. The experience must be good. Got your favorite characters probably running around, playing shuffleboard. You're playing, jump in the pool, watch the dolphins, eat some food, listen to music, this, that, and the other. And everybody's having fun. Everybody's having a great time. Until a little girl went overboard into the body of water. And all of a sudden, this whole collective experience of a cruise where everybody was more or less equally somewhat sharing this experience, enjoying it to the same levels to varying degrees, all of a sudden this little girl falls somehow into the body of water, and now she's potentially she's facing the risk of drowning. So all of a sudden, this collective activity of all of us, we're gonna get on this ship and enjoy this cruise together. It all of a sudden becomes about this one girl who I don't know whether she jumped in the water, whether she was pushed, or whether she fell. I think the obvious answer is that children are selfish. They'll make everything about themselves. Oh no, I'm a fun child. Look at me bring joy and happiness to your life. Next thing you know, however they fall in the water, everybody's attention on that boat has to go to this one child who's now in the water. Everybody's panicking. The mood is kind of, kind of a buzzkill, low key. You've got a nice buzz, but all of a sudden there's a potential baby girl about to drown, and it's just like, oh. So innately, a lot of people rightly would say that babies are selfish. And then to top it off, there was a gentleman who dove into the water, which later I believe turned out to be the father of the baby girl, saved the baby girl, and then they had to wait for the rescue crew from the ship to kind of go in their little rescue boat and collect the father and daughter. Now ultimately, yes, we're all happy, of course, we're glad everybody's safe. The level of selfishness, one, of the child, two, I guess you could say the father may be selfish as well, because like there's rescue folk on board, and here's the father being like, let me jump in and save my baby first, and then you guys come and like save us. So he made a whole thing about saving his daughter, which again points to the fact that like babies, children, they take, and you know, there comes a long waiting game to see if it ever, you know, it gives back. That's one thing. Also, the father jumping in, it's great that the child is saved. It does kind of put pressure on other fathers now, because now other kids and other wives are thinking, will my man jump in the water and save the baby and myself? And you gotta ask yourself, these are the questions, and it sucks having that pressure. A lot of people would, again, innately say yes without actually having to think about it. But once faced with the real life consequence of having to jump in a body of water or or the blazing fire or whatever the situation, but you're gonna have to ask yourself, the people you are saving, are they, one, if it's your kid, are they adorable little angels, or are they little demons who, these are quick questions you're gonna have to ask yourself. Your spouse is drowning, who knows what could help. Are they hot enough for you to want to actually jump in there? Because if it's like, if you're working with like, I don't want to put a number on it or anything, but you know what I mean. So these are questions that you're gonna have to, but people were put under a lot of pressure to immediately have to face these questions and ask themselves, am I gonna be the type of person that jumps in and saves the day and gets all the attention, and now this collective cruise that was meant to be enjoyed by everybody has now got this whole limelight on a couple of individuals who are, just me. So no, ultimately, of course, we're glad that everybody's safe, and by that I mean that it's nice that nobody drowned. That's perfect. Are the lifeguards on board, or the safety crew, or the emergency, the lifesavers with the boats, and are they kind of bummed out because they didn't get to rescue the child first? A little bit low key, they kind of got cucked, which is not also, because that's, they'll go out and they'll have to answer to the mouse, and he'll say, oh, how many lives did you save? They'll be asked those questions, and they'll be like, 2, and there'll be further questioning. Did you initially engage in saving the child? And they'll have to be like, no, the father saved the child, and then we saved the father and the child. So it's just like, oh, you did a job, but it's like, could you have gone in there quicker? Ultimately, they did save them, which is great, which shows that you could, if there's a cruise you want to be, risking your life on, it should be a Disney cruise, because nobody dies on a Disney cruise, not on the mouse's watch. But there you go. That's just a little bit of just current events or global events that are happening. So yeah, quit being selfish. Don't drown yourself while other people are also trying to enjoy a thing. and that sort of behavior only encourages other children to also want to kind of like, oh, this kid got so much attention. Next thing you know, little Johnny's in the water. Oh, look, mommy, I'm in the mouth of a shark. And, missing half his limbs because he thought he's going to go, get the likes or the clicks or whatever. The point is, ultimately, we are extremely happy that everybody's safe. But low key, yeah, babies are selfish. I think we all know that, but it's just, sometimes it's right there in your face. It's just right there. What else is going on, ladies and gents? I'll say this, how to be more flexible. It's a great question. Thank you for asking. We are all about, not the most health-minded individual, but like not the least either, somewhere in the middle. I say flexibility is key it's one of the keys to longevity. If you want to stay flexible, staying nimble is a factor that you're going to have to practice or try to attain one day at a time. But to be flexible, you got to first ask yourself, what is getting in my way of being flexible? Oftentimes it's bones. It's because people are made of skin and flesh and bones. I would say that. Bones are stiff, which is the opposite of flexible. And a lot of people try to like stretch their way to flexibility, whereas essentially it's your bones that's not letting you be flexible. I would highly suggest grabbing a hammer of sorts, just kind of like smashing all the bones in your body. Once you've made your insides into kind of like a powder, and the finer the powder inside, I'm talking about your bones, the more you smush and smash, the less bones you have. A lot of people like to walk around with their chest out and like, my bone density is fucking, yeah, but you're not flexible, homie. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, I gotta get my milk and calcium for my bone density. Yeah, but you're not flexible. So get a hammer, get some objects that are heavy, and just kind of smash every bone in your body. And you could just kind of like become completely flexible. And you want to essentially just have, because your skin out there on the surface is holding everything intact anyway. And you got a shape to you, right? It's not like you're shapeless. Yeah, the bones kind of give you a structure, but the shape is already there. The skin is already there. So if you want to be flexible, get a steamroller and have them just kind of like roll all across your body, right? Once you've cracked every bone and crushed it into a fine powder, it's a miracle, really. The things that you could do with you could bend all the way backwards. You could slide under doors. If there's like a little crack or like a little chink in the wall, you can just kind of like slip into it and just like slip through the other side. If there's a little bit of space anywhere in a vent, you could just get inside get inside the air conditioning system of any building. And don't people want that sort of thing? Don't people want to experience that? And they're like, oh, I'm not too flexible to get inside the ventilation. And yeah, not with that attitude, not with that mindset. Break all your bones. That's the key. A lot of people won't. They want to just fucking have you come back to them over and over. You gotta keep practicing flexibility every day. Just one day. So spend one day, crack every bone in your body, and you won't have to worry about being flexible ever again. And that's the key. And that's, yeah, sometimes dog, am I taking some people out the business because I'm fucking laying it down? I don't care. Motherfuckers out there trying to fucking hustle people into flexibility. The truth is inside you. But like you gotta break it down into just a fine powder. And it might hurt a little bit. I'm not gonna beat around the bush and be like it's not gonna hurt a little bit, but nothing comes free. So take your time, break or just jam yourself between a door and just fucking smash until it's less bone. How do I find the right bush? A lot of people will say that for my mouth. How do I find the right bush to match my mouth and my face? A lot of people ask that question. It is a great question. The pubic bush of every person is different. how would it match your face is a question that's meant to be answered solely by you and you only. The only way you're going to find out what the perfect bush for your mouth is by placing your mouth on a vag or on a cock and seeing how the bush lays out on your face. And what are you looking for here? That's one of the, what are you even doing here? That's one of the questions we should all be asking. Do you want to get, covered? Do you want to, once you're going down, do you want your face to be entirely covered by a bush? Then the bigger the bush, the more coverage you'll get. And if that's what you seek, that's what you shall find. If you want sort of like, I want it to kind of look like a goatee when I'm going down on a bitch, when I'm giving head, I want to look as if I got a goatee. Some women, they'll draw a little pencil mustache on their index finger and they'll stick it above their, upper lip, pretending they've got a mustache. Or sometimes it's Halloween or whatever, it's a costume party or whatever, and they'll wear a little nose and a mustache because that's deep down inside. They want to say, hey, I want a little bit of facial hair. And going down on a fella with pubes gives them that chance to kind of play out that fantasy of having facial hair. So going down on people is probably the only way you're going to find the perfect bush for your mouth. And again, if you're going for a goatee, if you're going for like just a little mustache, if you're going for, maybe if somebody's got the middle shaved and then just side of pubes hanging down, you could kind of get like sideburns. It's again, it all goes back to you experimenting. There's no right or wrong here, but placing your mouth firmly on somebody's genitalia is the first step to finding that perfect pubic hair match to your face. Can you breathe with it? Can you breathe without it? A lot of people can, a lot of times breathe with it, but have a difficult time breathing without it. And that's, again, up to you to go and discover. So no right or wrong, just a matter of taking time and figuring out what works for you. All right? A lot of times people are watching television or the movies and thinking to themselves, where's the coolest place that I could place my gat? Where can I place my gat? Or maybe you might be in real life, you might be in law enforcement, so you might be actually carrying a gat. Or you might be a real life criminal who also happens to be carrying a gat. Or you might just be somewhere where it allows you to safely carry a gat. But nonetheless, the coolest place for a gun, I would say, is right above the belt, right above, just tucked inside, right above the belt, right around this area, this region right here, above the belt, over the pants. That's where I'm visually seeing that, because it's good, it's quick, and it's good to go, and then you can put your shirt over it, and it's right there. But it's also one of the, I would say it's probably one of the coolest, because it's like, oh, I don't care that this gun is right above my genitals. I'm that kind of fella. I'm that kind of lady. I don't care that this gun can at any time shoot my own dick off or just pop one in my puss. I don't care. I'm that kind of fella or lady who'll say that. And it is one of the coolest places you could, but it's not very safe. But I suppose safety and coolness don't necessarily go together. So if you were wondering where's the coolest place you could place your gun, I would say right above the crotch. If we're working a little bit with safety, I would say like keep it away from the crotch. Probably behind the back is also cool too. Behind the back, tucked in behind the back. But that you gotta, sometimes, the front is easy to grab. The front is right there. It's right there, just right there. The back is sometimes you might fumble and drop that shit, and it might not be as cool once you're dropping shit. Holsters, if you've got gun holsters on the side, somewhere on the side, it might be cool too. I would say like, if you're a lady, probably like putting a couple of tiny guns inside your bra doesn't hurt either. That's kind of cool too, grabbing, because a lot of times if you're going for a tit, people immediately think, oh, she's just, she's just going for a tit. That's regular tit activity. I've seen these bitches do regular tit activity, going for but next thing you can just a little tiny gun just tucked into the old bra right there. That's a cool place to grab one gun as well. Hats, if you're wearing hats, underneath the hat, you could probably, but then you'd have to remove the hat, take the gun. If it falls off, not as cool. If we're being honest, like the coolest place would probably have to be inside a vagina. That's probably the coolest because it's not expected. It's definitely concealed. It's secret. it's top secret. It is fucking, it's nobody knows. But then there's the danger of it. If it goes off, it could be extremely harmful unless you got like 2-3 safeties on that gat, which in that case is pretty cool. Just reach in your, oh, she just reached, oh, this lady's about it. She's reaching in her puss. Next thing you know, right there. And you got yourself a lot of safety and, you know, protection, lady. For fellas, we don't have the vagines. You could put up your butt, but it have to be a smaller gun. So that's, and that kind of, you know, the bigger the gun, the cooler it is. The smaller the gun, then hopefully it's at least loud. I'm not saying it's not possible to stick a huge gun up your butt. You need lube. You probably need lube. And you could just reach behind your sunground. And that's probably, but again, not as cool as above the old crotch, but above the crotch it gives me anxiety because I watch people in movies and they're just like, oh, let's just head out. And wherever they're heading out to, they just stick their gun right above the crotch. I'm like, I don't know about that, man, but it does look good. It does look good. So there you go. Which place looks best and is semi-safe? Right above the crotch. Kind of, you want to just like, you know, cock it back too, because that's the thing. You never know when you just have to go right there. Just right there. Ladies and gents, if you've wondered to yourself, man, oh man, I wish I had a lot of doves in my life, because my life is that kind of life that I could use more doves inside of it. But there's not that option of having doves in your life, is there? Up until now, introducing the all-inclusive, unlimited amounts of doves for the entirety of your life. That's right. If you sign up now, you get an unlimited amount of doves that will show up at any event, any life event that you're going through, and make that event 10x in terms of making it better. It will make your experiences, opening up the fridge to grab a cool one, doves. Let's go. Sitting down to watch a movie with your lover who you just hooked up with, doves just in the background taking off or landing. Dove sounds, real life dove sounds. Getting in and out of cars, every time you open a car or close a car door, doves getting in and out. And that's a lot of times people are just like, oh, I got my life, I got a lockdown. I know my life is good. It could be better with more doves. Wanting to have a meal in public, get followed by a lot of doves. Want to take your hat off? Have a couple of doves fly out of them. By subscribing to this service, you can get unlimited doves anywhere, anytime. I'm talking 24/7, 365. You're about to make love? Open up your legs. What is that? Doves just flying out. Wedding ceremony? Doves. Getting divorced? More doves. Having an affair? Doves. Right there. Your children, birthday parties, doves. Somebody getting circumcised at 27, more doves. And again, these life experiences by themselves, they're great. They're whatever. They're great. But could they be better though? Yes. Yes, they could. Blood transfusion, doves. Right there, right? Brain transplant, doves. Titty implant, more doves. Getting your penis downsized because it's so massive, you stud you walk around with 12 inches. Want to get it reduced in the operation room, more doves. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure to get the unlimited amount of doves for an unlimited amount of period. And once you pass away, these doves will be handed down to your offspring. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace out.